Imagine this. You look at a calendar from 1752 and 11 days are just gone. Not smudged. Not a misprint. Erased. Vanished. Right here, in this parish register, you can see it. The ink flows through September 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then it just jumps. Stark and surgical to the 14th. It's like a glitch in the matrix. 11 days, extracted from history like a tumor. So the question is, who has the power to edit time itself? And how do you rip days out of the calendar without people's lives bleeding through the cracks? The culprit? A single piece of paper. The Calendar Act of 1751. It was a command from the highest level of government that in Britain and its American colonies, Wednesday, September 2nd, 1752, would be immediately followed by Thursday, September 14th. This wasn't just about dates. The law completely reset the start of the legal year, moving it from March 25th to the January 1st we know today. This was a massive software update for an entire empire, designed to get contracts, courts, and finances to stop arguing with the sky. And the law was smart. It ordered that all rents, wages, and interest payments be calculated as if those 11 days still existed, so no one could claim they were robbed. So why this drastic surgery? It all came down to a tiny, fatal rounding error. For centuries, we used the Julian calendar, which assumed a year was exactly 365.25 days long. Close, but no cigar. The actual tropical year is a fraction shorter. The difference? A tiny 11 minutes and 14 seconds a year. Doesn't sound like much, right? But those minutes add up. Like a clock running just a little too fast, every 128 years, the calendar would be off by a full day. By 1582, the first day of spring had drifted 10 days off schedule. Pope Gregory XIII saw this mess and ordered the first big fix. Guided by the sharpest minds of his day, he simply cut 10 days from the calendar and tweaked the leap year rule to prevent the drift from happening again. But Britain, fiercely Protestant, resisted a Catholic calendar. So they waited and waited. By the time they finally got on board in 1752, the gap had grown to 11 days. It was time to pay the temporal debt. And the evidence of this shock is everywhere. Official Royal Navy logbooks show the jump, September 2nd to September 14th, no explanation, no apology. The most popular magazine of the day printed a September calendar with a giant blank space in the middle, like a missing tooth. Even Benjamin Franklin, in his Poor Richard's Almanac, had to explain to his readers that 11 natural days were about to be officially omitted. But what did this actually feel like for people? Think about it. Market days suddenly shifted. Court dates were rescheduled. Harvest festivals were thrown into chaos. Even birthdays moved. George Washington was born on February 11th, 1731, but after the change, his birthday officially became February 22nd, 1732. He aged a year and 11 days overnight on paper. Parliament knew this would cause chaos. That's why they had those clauses about prorating wages and rents. They were more afraid of people rioting over money than over a metaphysical theft of time. And what about the famous riots? You've probably seen that painting by Hogarth with the sign, "Give USR 11 days." But here's the twist. Most historians agree those riots were largely a myth. It was political satire, not a documentary. There was grumbling, confusion, and a lot of angry pamphlets, sure. But no mass insurrection. The government had successfully paid off the anger before it could explode. Now step back and you see this wasn't just a British problem. It was a global domino effect. Catholic Europe, Spain, Portugal, Italy made the jump back in 1582. Protestant Germany followed in 1700. Sweden completely botched their transition and had to invent a February 30th in 1712 just to get back on track. Russia didn't switch until after the revolution in 1918. Greece was the last, holding out until 1923. This wasn't a moment, it was a slow, painful, rolling frontier of time. Behind the scenes, In observatories like Greenwich, astronomers were the surgeons. They were meticulously tracking the sun, pinning the equinox, using instruments of incredible precision. Because a calendar isn't about morality, it's about alignment. It's a human schedule trying desperately to sync with an astronomical heartbeat. This page, this law, was the suture tying society back to the sun. And here's the pattern. Time is a social contract we drape over a constantly moving planet. And when the map no longer matches the territory, someone has to be brave enough to cut the map. Up close, that surgery always feels like a loss. Stolen birthdays, shortened paychecks, dislocated rituals. But from a distance, it's a relief. It's fleets and courts and farmers finally speaking the same language as the seasons. Every fix feels like an erasure because we crave continuity. But precision is its own form of care. It's the humility to admit our story was wrong and rewrite it to match reality. We didn't lose 11 days. We retired a ruler that had started to lie. And the fingerprints of this event are still on our skin today. The UK tax year still starts on April 6th, a ghost of that 1752 cut, nudged again by another calendar quirk in 1800. We celebrate Washington's birthday on a Monday in February, still debating which of his two birthdays is the real one. And we are still performing these quiet surgeries on time. In 2011, Samoa jumped across the international date line and skipped December 30th entirely, just to align its work week with its trading partners. Every few years, software engineers slip a leap second 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 60 seconds into the world's clocks. In 2012, that single extra second crashed servers across the globe. Our entire modern world, airlines, stock exchanges, GPS, runs on these tiny, invisible stitches in time. The diagnosis is clear. Time is and always will be under maintenance. So look again at that gap in the register. Feel the history in that paper. Then glance at your phone. The gap is still there, it's just better hidden. The past isn't the past, it's the firmware our present is still running on. To keep faith with each other and with reality, we sometimes have to cut the story to fit the world. And that's the mirror for us. The next time our systems need a reboot, it will feel like theft up close, but like sanity from a distance. What we call disruption is often just essential maintenance. Now I have a question for you. If you had to permanently erase one day from this year's calendar, which day would it be and why? Let me know your answer in the comments below. And if you thought losing 11 days was strange, you won't believe the story of how a single extra second almost broke the entire internet in 2012. Click here to watch that video next. And to make sure you never miss another story about the hidden rules that run our world, hit that subscribe button. We do this every day.